Have you ever thought, okay, I'm eating on a whole food, plant-based diet now, and this is my lifestyle from now on. Now, what do I do about going out to dinner with friends? Well, stay tuned. We're going to cover some tips and tricks that I've learned after doing this for about a year and a half. Hope you watch. Hi, this is Debbie, and thank you so much for coming to watch my channel today. You know, as I said, I've been on this diet for a little while now, and I've discovered some ideas that have helped me stay compliant while still eating with my friends and eating out, because after all, that's part of your social life and that's part of life, especially if you travel. So we're going to cover today some tips and tricks for eating out at regular restaurants and also for fast food. You know, if you're new to my channel, I hope you'd consider subscribing and hitting the bell so that you get alerted to any new any new videos. As a reminder, on a whole food plant-based diet, we don't eat any meat, seafood, eggs, or any dairy products. So whether it's milk, cheese, cottage cheese, any of that. Also, on this type of eating plan, I cut out all extra added oil. Then you want to limit your salt, although I do add a little. The doctors recommend that if you're going to use some salt, add it not during your cooking, but only to your meal as you need it for taste. So you're just adding a few grains on top of your food. That'll really cut down on your sodium. Also, you can rinse any of your canned goods unless your canned good is marked no salt, and that will also help as well. If you need a little bit of sugar, it's okay to add a little tiny bit of sugar. You can also use stevia. Natural products like maple syrup that can add a little bit of sweetener, but basically I stay away from sugar as well. So let's talk about fast foods. Now you've got your typical McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's and Taco Bell and KFC and all of the ones that might be near you in your area, your part of the country that might be a little different. Those are the basic ones in my area. And in general, I stay away from fast food. We all know that they're full of oil, salt, and sugar for their products, and all of their products are highly processed, or a good many of them, because salt, oil, and sugar adds flavor, and that's what tastes good to us. And there's science behind that, but that's what we crave. So we'll talk about that in another video as well. However, so I stay away from fast foods, but sometimes you're in a location where that's all you have available. Perhaps you're on a trip, or you're running errands for the day, and you just got caught longer than you expected, and you're starving. What can we do? Well, for breakfast, I pretty much stay clear of all fast foods, with the exception if you can find one that serves just a plain bread product, like a plain bagel. Dunkin' Donuts actually has a multi-grain bagel that's absolutely delicious. But you want to carry a few things with you, especially if you know you're going to go out, and be prepared. You might have some jams or jellies in small packages in your car that don't have any high fructose corn syrup in it, and those are an excellent topping on top of a bagel. Perhaps you can, at the fast food location, you can get some fresh fruit. Chick-fil-A, I think, has some fresh fruit. So you can use those as options. If you go with potatoes themselves are included in this way of eating, but not all the oil that they cook it in. Sometimes you can go to some place like a Waffle House that might agree to what I call dry fry them on their cooking surface, and they'll just put the grated hash brown potatoes and maybe some onions, and just heat it on the skillet surface. And if you can get them, especially at Waffle House, you could watch them, not to add any oil, and just keep flipping them and browning them, and they're partially cooked, I think, already anyway, so they'll be a nice taste treat for you as well. But it's a little hard to eat breakfast out at a fast food and stay on this type of eating. So if you are looking for a lunch or dinner, one of the best ideas I've discovered, and through other people as well as myself, my own experience, is eating at Wendy's. At Wendy's you can get for right now anyway, until they change the menu, you can get a nice baked potato. And you can get salads. Now their salads will already have cheese on them, so if they're pre-made at your Wendy's, ask them to remake you a salad without the cheese. For salad dressings, I like to carry my own, and you can get them in little packets. Walden Farms makes some great fat-free, sugar-free, oil-free dressing packets, or you can put a little bit of dressing in a little cup with a lid on it and take it with you if you know you're going to be out. Salad and a baked potato, it fills me up, no problem. So that's an excellent choice for lunch. If you're not at Wendy's, then perhaps you stop at a Taco Bell. At Taco Bell, they have some of their entrees where you can order them, and they call it fresco. That just means that all the dairy has been removed from the item, so there's not going to be any added cheese or sour cream. In some Taco Bell restaurants, they will not only remove dairy products for you if you order it that way, but they might also add pico de gallo for you. And if not, you can ask them if they can do that for you. And so it's easy, I think, to eat out at a Taco Bell, or even perhaps some other local fast food restaurants that you might have in your area that serve the Mexican cuisine. Just order rice, beans, any of the vegetables like onion, lettuce, and make your taco or burrito in using, hopefully, corn tortilla if you can. Otherwise, flour will have a little bit of oil in their flour tortillas. And just order your Mexican items that way. And that way you've eliminated dairy and meat and dairy, including cheese. So that's what I like to do if I'm ordering or stopping at a fast food place like a Taco Bell. You can go to a place like Chipotle that has the different toppings that you can add to your own plate. Make it a big salad. And on top of the lettuce and greens, you can have rice. Now, their rice does have a little bit of oil added to it to help with the separation of the rice. But they also add in some fruit juices, some orange and lime juice, according to their website anyway. And that also adds flavor to their rice, and so it's not solely the oil that has separated the kernels of rice, but you can be pretty much assured that they're going to put oil in their rice. And unfortunately, in most restaurants, that's what they do. If you're going to an Asian restaurant, then they're a little different, because many times they want their rice to be sticky, and they use the starch that will come from the rice to hold it together, and they don't need to add oil to separate the rice kernels. So there's an advantage for you there. But back to fast food, that would work for you if you're going to either a Taco Bell or a Wendy's. You're going to have to just kind of explore. Be careful if you're going to a Burger King. They have what they call a veggie burger. But if you look into it online, lately they've been using Gardein burgers, and they have egg white in them to use as a binder. So be careful. Not all the time will the veggie burger be vegan. Most often it will be vegetarian. And in vegetarian, you can have eggs or cheese added to the product and still fall under that classification. So be careful with the fast foods. But this is in a pinch. This is once in a great while. I find the easiest is just to go to Wendy's. And most often you can find a Wendy's in and around wherever I am anyway. So when I order pizza, I order it vegetarian, so that has all the vegetable toppings, and I ask for no cheese. And don't forget to ask for no Parmesan cheese put on there as well. You might even want to ask if there's any Parmesan cheese put into the sauce. Sometimes restaurants will make that in their marinara sauce. They'll add in the Parmesan cheese as well. So that's a great way, though, to have a pizza just like everybody else does. Only your pieces, by the way, they are delicious. They're piled high with vegetables. And you have pizza like everybody else. And yours is so much healthier. So that's a great fast food option. For when you want to go out to a nicer restaurant, nicer than fast food, I always recommend that if you're not familiar with the restaurant, you either, well, what I do is I look it up online first. I check to see if there are any black bean burgers or veggie burgers. I'll check to see what side dishes they have, because many times that's what I can eat are the side dishes. I'm thrilled if they have a baked potato. When you might want to ask your server when you're there if they rub it in bacon fat or anything like that. But although they may put a little oil on the skin, generally they don't rub it in bacon fat, hopefully. But you might want to check online first and see what they have on the menu. Also, it pays to call ahead. The menus can change. They're not necessarily what you see online anyway. Things like veggie or black bean burgers sometimes have egg white, as I mentioned earlier, added to them as a binding ingredient, or they may add in a milk product, whey, in their seasonings. So I always ask by either calling ahead or asking the server when I'm there, what are your vegan-friendly options for dining here? That's a nice way of saying it. And that way, if you call ahead, especially, you're coming, especially to a nicer restaurant, many times the chef is actually interested and even happy to come up with a creation of his own. I always try to remember that I'm going for the experience, for the social fun of the evening. It's not just about what I can eat there, because I can always go home and have something wonderful to eat later. But the reason I go out is not just to have some food for the meal, it's to have fun with friends and my husband and girlfriends and couples and family, extended family. So that's the fun of it. Keep that in mind, because that'll help you through the rough times. Preparation is the key there. And it doesn't mean you can't go out to eat, it just means you have to be careful. And really, don't feel too bad for yourself, because you'd have to do this if you're gluten-free and you have gluten intolerance, or you're celiac disease. You have to take these precautions if you're allergic to certain ingredients. Nut allergies, milk, lactose intolerant, milk allergies, dairy allergies, I should say. All of those things can come to play when you're going out to eat. So it's not just somebody that's eating the way we do that has to be careful. So restaurants are used to being questioned and asked about it. It seems to be more prevalent these days. And I think they're a lot more tolerant of it too. So go out, enjoy, and have fun, and just be careful. And therefore, I've also cut down a lot on eating out. When it used to be a whim, do I want to cook or do I want to eat out? And then I would just think of, well, what do I want to eat? And many times it was just so much easier just to go out to eat. Of course, you spend more money that way and it can trickle away before you know it. But especially now that I eat the whole food plant-based way, it's just not only is it not as cost effective, it's just not safe for my cuisine and my waistline to eat out as much. So we just don't eat out as much as we used to. That doesn't mean we don't, though. So I hope those tips have been helpful to you. Please, if there's something that I haven't covered and you have a question about how I handle it, please don't forget to leave a comment. Also, give me some tips and share with all of us here on what you do if you're have some ideas about eating out. Different parts of the country, it's easier. You have a few more options than others. I'm here in the Deep South, and here we have barbecue and barbecue. And we have some, obviously, fine dining, because I'm near a fairly large city, and there are a few more options, but you still have to be quite careful. So we don't have quite as many vegan and vegetarian options in restaurants as they do, say, like out west and other parts. And then you may not even be in the United States, you may be in another country and have a totally different circumstance. So I feel for you, but there's a way we can do it, and certainly. So thank you so much again for joining me today. I hope that if you like this video, you show me by hitting the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell so you're alerted to when I have more videos come up. And next, I'm going to be doing a video on some organizing I've done in the house here, especially as it pertains to this way of eating. Bye for now. Hope you have a great week. Bye-bye now.